Good morning, everyone. The most important thing that I need to start off with the new front office and the new switchboard and all the new elements in it, I guess, is the control of front office, especially as it spreads more widely through the number of users in the school and beyond. The setup users is where I'm going to go through the new idea of a security profile and you being able to set up security profiles precisely the way that you want them. In this button here, Set Up Users, we now have a security profile number. The first important thing to understand is that if there is no security profile number, I have created a user Craig. You can see there is no security profile number. If I try and log on with Craig, a new teacher perhaps that has arrived at the school, you will see that I will get a message to say incorrect username or password. There's something wrong, it will not let me in. Right, so if I log in as the administrator again, I can see the administrator is logged on and go to set up users. I now want to, let us say, there's my security wizard. I now want to make a profile, perhaps just for one particular individual person or perhaps for a group of people. The first thing to notice is that there are very few automatically set up profiles. You're going to make a new one. I'm going to click on the new button down here. I'm going to create security profile number 4. I will go through this relatively quickly. Profile name is something that you can give a suitable name that will make sense to you. Remember, this is personalized for your school. It is also possible to give a profile description, in other words, a set of notes which you'll be able to print out later so that perhaps the principal can see exactly who has got access to what elements in the program. Right, you'll see that I've typed in a little description there, assuming I want to make a new profile, let's say for new academic staff, that you do not want to go to perhaps more advanced printouts, that you just want a limited thing so that they can get used to the idea of using front office and everything. So obviously I'm not, anything that I tick here, I don't want them to open the navigation pane. Clearly that is something that only you as an administrator should open. I don't want them to have the enabled daily role, and I don't want them, if I lock them out of the program, I certainly don't want them to be able to log back in again. They don't need global settings or any of these things. On the first tab here, you will see that I've now ticked on admin records. I've deliberately done that so that I can show you how you can limit what they can see in admin records. The only other thing I've enabled them to be able to go and see is academic records and marks and comments. All these administrative and academic reports I haven't allowed them into. Of course, under admin itself, what do I want them to be allowed to see? Well, let's allow them to see the learner and the learner address and learner extra. We can allow them to see absenteeism and perhaps exit late and the photograph, and we'll leave it there. Do we want them to be able to add records? No, nor delete records. We don't want them to edit records, and we don't want them to have access to all the automatic lyric stuff. And as far as staffing is concerned, we can allow them to see general perhaps and leave it at that. Again, we do not want to allow them to be able to edit or delete records or any of those things. Okay, now if I go back to the first page here, you'll see very few ticks have been made. How does that impact upon what happens? And remember, this is profile number 4. So I can go and set Craig, the new teacher, with profile number 4. What should happen now is that when Craig logs on, he or she will not be able to see all of these buttons or any of the, at the moment you can see in admin records, everything is available, all these buttons here, all these things at the top, Lyrics integration and the Lyrics send files are all available. clearly we've restricted all of that, and we want to see how does it actually work in practice. Well, if I change user and I'll log in now as Craig, because I have a security profile, it will allow me into the program. But the first thing that we notice is that very few things are available. There's the admin records I said we would allow them into. Extramural is available. Academic records available, marks and comments. The only other thing they can do is change user or exit. Staff records, we didn't let them into. Admin records, we did say we would let them into, but we would limit it. If you can remember just briefly how full that screen was before, if I click on admin records now, I see very few tabs at the top, and only those 3 things that we said were available are available. These have been grayed out, they're not available. Furthermore, we also said we do not want them to be able to add a record or edit a record. Hence, I'm now pressing the backspace button, nothing is happening. Let's close that. I'm just going to open admin records again, just so that you can get an idea in your mind. Can you see that there are the 3 tabs open here? I want you to get the sense of the difference that can be made with just a very easy, short ability on your part, not terribly time consuming, and it's very easy to change as you go along. How you can change exactly, you can control exactly what everybody in that school is able to do or not do. Get an idea of that in your mind and we'll see the difference now. I'm going to close the screen and I'm going to log back in as the administrator. You will see immediately the difference. Every single button enabled. If I go to these admin records, the stark difference should be immediately noticeable. All of these things are available. I can check for the diacritics. I can go and check and see if there are diacritics in any of the names. All of those things that are associated with lyrics that are potentially complex, you are not even tempting new staff to go and look and see what they can do with that. Also, obviously all my academics is now available. Later on you might well want to give them access to be able to go and see current mark sheets, to choose a mark sheet list that they perhaps want to go and see, but at this stage you block them off from that. That is the essence behind the setup users. Yeah, basically the security wizard. We now got 4 possible profiles. You can add as many profiles as you wish onto that. You can group them, as I've done one, this number 4 here. I've given a description of something as a profile for new academic staff. I'm just making it up. You might want 5 or 6 or 7 general profiles that you use in your school. You might even want a few staff members who have a specific profile specially set up for them. No problem. Just go to new profile here, give it a number, give it a name, give it a description which will help you later on, and then go through this and decide for yourself exactly what you want them to be able to see or not see. Folks, I hope that makes sense, and I trust that as front office spreads through the school, you will at least have that peace of mind knowing that you are completely in control of everything that's going on. Notice also, please, that in that profile that I set up, we told it that the navigation pane should not be available. It's not available to that person. When you log on, it will be available. Okay, folks, that is about it for the security profile. I will go through some of the other new functions that we have created shortly.